This is the Cutting Edge on next Wednesday with the Paya again. Yes, we're there with you. We want you to all the people them who hear about the program last week. Yes. Yeah, by the amount of people them. Why you my Virgin Babandi, you know? Yes. Why you my Virgin Babandi? If somebody else listen out, they know say him. Why you the ones them from out of England, you know, so we're dead with you. Yes, we are bring stepping razor up there too, you know. Yes. We are bring stepping razor right in England there. So watch out for that. We want to heal up all the ones them. I'm going to say all the ones them. I mean all the ones them who sit down and listen to it religiously for how much years now. May I tell you, 20 odd years with them on the program. Why you know, we call Rum Lane. May I tell you, that man there, we are coming your yard, you know, Bridget. No worry yourself, you know, we are coming your yard. You could have deal, we are coming your yard, but time and time, you understand? So you will say now, we are going to talk history, we are going to talk Africa, and we are going to talk the power and the glory. You know, Marcus Garvey say, all when you sit on a bus stop and you have a book, read a book. If you wait on a bus or a train, read a book. You're supposed to read. But you know, right now, we realize that black people, the youth, them especially we are talking about the youth, the youth, them are reading, but them are reading the wrong things because them not reading a book. What them are reading is that little light up triangular thing where in them hand, we can't hold in them hand, we are blind them really. You know, see, I would suggest that if a youth go for a career now, to go learn optician, go be an optician. Because 5 years, 10 years down the line, a whole heap of people, most of the youth, them when you see a walk on the road, are going to need glasses. You know, see, glasses them are going to need because of this little rectangular thing in front of them. So you hear me I say now, them read, but them a read say and so and Swiss way. We know where them are read still. But the things them feel uplift and advance the welfare of the whole human race seem to make them dodge it. Well, this program is to make you stop dodge it. We're giving you it right up front, right in your face, as what I say, right in your face business. So we continue the journey. We continue the journey because that is what we know if you do. Yeah, we don't know nothing else. Yes, Cutting Edge. You know, over a couple months now, we see that there is a upsurge of reflection on what we call the transatlantic slave trade. We see a lot of people now expressing certain knowledge or trying to find out certain things about slave trade, which the intention is to awaken them consciousness about a lot of the things them that we have been saying on the radio for years now. And a lot of people seem to want to put it aside. Now we see it coming in right into a whole heap of one's face. But we know that it's so it won't go, so that's why we don't stop the way we are doing. Because we know, say, eventually the message must take unto itself flesh. But that's how it go. Without a doubt, that's how it go. So we do it because we know, say, it is the right thing to do, and even though it don't look like nothing now, but eventually it will, like most other things. A whole heap of things, when it was originally said, it did just go through 1 year and pass through the next, but generations come and pick it up and make it become seriously embedded into the conscience and the consciousness of the people who are searching for liberation, especially African people. And with all the things that we see are going with in Africa, you know, we see on one side you have some little stupidity going, but on the next side we see some serious conscious move I make to liberate Africa. Yes, we're the first one to say it, that there is movements in Africa right now. We talk right across the continents, east, west, north and south. There are people in Africa, and even some of the leaders, see it necessary to take action to liberate Africa finally and totally. Meanwhile,
hello, I'm Jared Taylor with American Renaissance. Most people think that the United States was, from the very beginning, dedicated to the idea of racial equality. Yes, they say there was slavery and segregation, but we were always working to fulfill the promise of all men are created equal. Of course, Thomas Jefferson, who wrote those words, was a slaveholder who didn't think the races were equal at all. But that phrase from the Declaration of Independence will haunt his memory forever. Not many people know that in 1776, there were black slaves in all 13 colonies and in the entire New World, from Canada to the tip of South America. In 1770, 40% of the white households in Manhattan owned slaves, and there were more slaves in the colony of New York than in Georgia. 9 of the first 11 presidents were slaveholders. The 2 exceptions were John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Jefferson thought slavery was a bad thing and that slaves would eventually be freed, but he wanted freed slaves sent back to Africa. There's a quotation from him on the wall of the Jefferson Memorial that goes like this: "Nothing is more certainly written in the book of fate than that these people are to be free." Well, in the original, Jefferson didn't stop there, adding, "Nor is it less certain that the 2 races equally free cannot live in the same government." That part has been conveniently forgotten. He wanted blacks deported and separated from whites so that they would be, and I quote, "beyond the reach of mixture." James Madison agreed. He wanted the U.S. government to buy up every slave and deport them. After he served as president, he ran the American Colonization Society, which was set up to send blacks back to Africa. At the inaugural meeting of the society, Henry Clay explained its purpose, quote, "to rid our country of a useless and pernicious, if not dangerous, portion of the population." Some of the most famous early Americans were not just members of the Colonization Society, they were officers. Besides Madison, there were Andrew Jackson, Daniel Webster, Stephen Douglas, William Seward, Francis Scott Key, Winfield Scott, and John Marshall. James Monroe worked so hard to help freed American slaves leave the country and establish Liberia that grateful Liberians named their capital Monrovia in his memory. The founders wanted blacks out and whites in. After the U.S. Constitution was ratified, the very first United States Congress had to decide who could be an American. They passed a law that said only, quote, "free white persons" could be citizens of the new country. Blacks couldn't be citizens even if they had been living in the colonies for generations. It took an amendment to the Constitution in 1868 for blacks to become citizens. And American Indians didn't finally become U.S. citizens until 1924. From colonial times on, there was strong opposition to mixed-race marriage. Massachusetts prohibited miscegenation from 1705 to 1843 and repealed the ban only because people thought it wasn't needed. They thought the idea of mixing was so repellent that no one would do it even if it were legal. Of the 50 United States, 44 at one time had laws prohibiting interracial marriage. White people did not want blacks to vote. In 1855, there were 31 states in the Union, but blacks could vote only in 4. All of them were in New England. And together they had only 4% of the total black population of the country. The federal government made sure that blacks couldn't vote in the territories. When Oregon joined the Union in 1859, its constitution stated that no black person could come live in or even visit the state. But Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, didn't he believe in racial equality? No. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates, he said this: "I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors out of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. There is a physical difference between the white and black races which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. Lincoln agreed with Jefferson. He wanted to free the slaves and then deport them. In 1862, Lincoln had the Civil War on his hands, but he was so worried about what to do with free blacks that he named a commissioner on immigration and sent him off to look for countries that would take in the blacks he wanted to be rid of. He also sent a message to Congress calling for free blacks to be deported. U.S. presidents usually say only bland, non-controversial things. Well, this is what some of them said about race. James Garfield wrote, "I have a strong feeling of repugnance when I think of the Negro being made our political equal, and I would be so glad if they could be colonized, sent to heaven, or got rid of in any decent way." Theodore Roosevelt wrote that he had, quote, "not been able to think out any solution to the terrible problem offered by the presence of the Negro on this continent." As for Indians, he said, quote, "I don't go so far as to think that the only good Indians are the dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of 10 are, and I shouldn't inquire too closely into the health of the 10th. William Howard Taft once told a group of black college students, "Your race is adapted to be a race of farmers, first, last, and for all times." Warren Harding thought the races would always be separate. Quote, "This is not a question of social equality, but a question of recognizing a fundamental, eternal, inescapable difference." Harry Truman wrote, "I am strongly of the opinion that Negroes ought to be in Africa, yellow men in Asia, and white men in Europe and America." He also referred to the black servants in the White House as, quote, "an army of coons." Dwight Eisenhower told Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren he understood why Southerners wanted segregated schools. They didn't want, quote, "their sweet little girls to sit in schools alongside some big black bucks." He said that what he regretted most about his 8 years as president was sending federal troops to Little Rock, Arkansas to enforce school integration. It's not until John Kennedy, elected in 1960, that we have a president with views on race that just might be considered acceptable today. Because now, of course, we are supposed to think that race doesn't even exist. And even if it did, it would be immoral to base any decision on race. As I think I've made clear, this is a very recent way of thinking. From colonial times right up through the mid-20th century, virtually all white people believed race was an essential part of the American identity. They understood that people of different races are different and build different kinds of societies. They thought only Europeans would make the United States the kind of country that they would want to pass on to their children. So, there are two views. There is the consensus on race that lasted for more than 300 years, and there's today's view that races are perfectly equal and interchangeable, and that American can become black, Hispanic, Asian, Muslim, Hindu, anything at all. And not only will it be still America, it'll be better than ever. Well, which view is correct? Just look around. Read the news. I think you'll find the answer. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website.
Yeah, this is the cutting edge. I tell you, this information. You know, ironically here, some of them talking about send back the freed slaves to Africa. The irony of that and the paradox of it is that a lot of freed slaves today want to go back to Africa, and if we go to them and say, all right, it's like how you're going to say no go to Africa, we're ready to go now. That not in their plan at all, because African people have been such a serious part, intricate part of the society in America that if black people was to leave and go somewhere else, America would have crumbled. But not only that, because we have to really examine the situation that surround that them saying Africans must go back to Africa, the yellow man must go back to China and all these things. But them claim America. America is captured land. America, the same people them who calling people aliens today, they are aliens in the Native American land. Because all the other nations came there before the white people them come there from Europe, to be precise, we over in Ireland and all these places, running from religious persecution. And here they are now coming to tell us that we are aliens, when them was the first people who come over there and kill half the people them who them come see and capture them land and take with them land and then call themselves American. It's a weird phenomenon. But I want to go back to Abraham Lincoln, where the man does quote Abraham Lincoln say, because especially black people have this notion like them want to exclude Abraham Lincoln from the whole racist, white supremacist idea, because them say him is the great emancipator. And this is a quote from Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln said, there is a physical difference between the white and the black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together. While they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. All of them, no matter what they want to say and what they want to do, deep within them psyche, up to this day, you think that I jump down field say, as a white man, him is more superior than the Chinese, the Indians, the Africans and the Native Americans. Yes, them feel away there. Most of these men in power, that is how them see themselves superior to all other races. That is why them go around the globe killing people and taking with them land, capturing them land and moving them from here to there. So we have to declare ourselves, African people have to recognize how important it is to understand history. History. And a people without a knowledge of them history is like a tree without root. We have to go beyond the slavery. We have to go beyond the slavery because we know that African history extends itself thousands of years before the Arabs and the Europeans venture into Africa. And we know that the Europeans went to the Europeans went to Egypt and took all of the knowledge and says to them own and burned the libraries. Alexander the Greek burned the library them and take all of what them supposed to take and carry back to Greece. And then we hear about all Socrates and Plato and all these people as great philosophers and Pythagoras theorem and all these things. When we know that those people is African, them learn it from. Is Africa them learn it from, but we don't know that. Because it come to we from the invaders, so we think it's the invaders' own. The invaders rape, rob, burn and all the things that them can do. With the libraries in Egypt, in Ethiopia, them worship gods out of Ethiopia and give it, what them call it, Greek names like Zeus. The gods of Ethiopia transform itself into Greek mythologies and Roman mythology, and them create some for themselves, and then give us it, and we believe, and we sometimes die for those beliefs that they gave us. But you know, the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Steve Biko said that great South African freedom fighter from the BAYSEE. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So when the oppressor can't have your mind, don't worry. Anywhere your mind go, your body will go there too. Anywhere your mind go, your body will go there too. And that is really where them have been now. Lobstock and barrel. If you ever hear that terminology there, yes. Believe you me. I keep repeating it, you know. I don't know if anybody will listen to me. I don't know if anybody will listen, but I'm going to repeat it again. Anybody notice that since the past 2 years of Donald Trump, we don't hear nothing more about ISIL, we don't hear about Al-Qaeda, we don't hear about, what, may I tell you, no bombing of this, no terrorist attack, terrorist threatened. How come? What is it that ISIL wanted to achieve that them don't want again? How come all of a sudden everything just, no terrorist attack in Iraq, no bombing in this place, that the place, all over the place? All of a sudden, you know, you're not more about that again. Who control and who is manipulating the worldview? Who allow us to see things, and these things are just illusions in front of us, playing out, a game playing out in front of us that we are not a part of. We will never be a part of it. We're not in the position to be a part of it. But we have to take a stock, we have to understand it, because information is the greatest weapon today. The people with the most information is them going to govern the world. Information. We are living in the time of information. And we seem not to get information coming from reliable sources, but the same source that has been perpetuating the devastation of the planet for hundreds of years now. Hundreds of years. This is the cutting edge. Listen to this.
A lot of people don't know the original design for the Statue of Liberty was a black female. As a matter of fact, in a museum in New York, you can see the original design of the Statue of Liberty, which is a black woman. When the French artist created the Statue of Liberty, it was supposed to represent the end of slavery. On the original model, there were chains on the hands and feet, as we know. When the statue got to America, they wanted to erase any references to slavery from the statue, but the artist really thought to keep the chains on there because this is your art. You don't want people tampering with your art. And if you look, the chain is still on the foot of the Statue of Liberty to this day.
Well, the story was that it was a gift of the French to the slaves, and that the original statue had the picture of a black woman, the original model for it, and it had a distinctly African face. But it was Europeanized because the people in the United States did not want to have a black face sitting up there in the harbor, so they carved it out in France. They had to go back to the drawing board and remodel the face after the what they call the patron saint of Manifest Destiny. So the patron saint of Manifest Destiny, that's her face on the what they call the Statue of Liberty, which was transposed from the African face. In fact, you see the patron saint of Manifest Destiny in the symbol for Columbia Pictures at the beginning of the movies. That's the patron saint of
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
We decide that we want to do the stepping razor from Birmingham, and we did it already years ago. We want it up on Cobia, you know. Yes, and Cobia, the first data for actually archive the cutting edge long before stepping razor. And then now we say, we're brethren out of England and America, I put the program together historically, and we want to send you right into the cutting edge and the stepping razor. Yes. So look out for that. It's going to be explosive and exciting to actually do the program from that part of the world. And you know, so we're going to Africa, and we will be doing the program also in Africa, December. So big things are going on for the program. We are traveling with the program, you know. We not just go for a little parish business, you know, parish to parish. No, we are go from continent to continent, country to country. Why you love my brethren, Irons and David. Yes, brethren. Oh gosh, man. I'm a personal brethren them. We're glad when we hear say them England, man. I know South Africa, them man, they have them place I go on. So anytime we hear to them there at England, we feel good because we know so we are going to meet them at England. And so it go. We're going to meet them at England, and yes, my brethren them. Okay, we're there with you. Cutting edge. Yes, this is the cutting edge. We're there on the beat. We're there on the beat, you know. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon, great people.
We could set it off here, so. Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, great people of Jamaica. My name is Kwaku Adu Jemfi Ampofo. I'm greeting you humbly. With humble respect, I speak with my brothers and sisters in Jamaica. There is something going on which I need to address because it is affecting the whole black populace. Because Jamaica is the eye of Africa. If something goes on well in Jamaica, it affects all the black people. Because Jamaica, as I have said many times, as Nelson Mandela also said, is the strength of Africa, a land full of prophets and prophetess. Jamaica, lend me your ears, humbly, with respect. I'm talking to you. I give you the honor and I give you all the utmost respect because you represent us as Africans. If Africa has a population of 3 million or 3 billion, each Jamaican, a person from Jamaica stands for not less than 3 million people because you are our leaders. You are our prophets and our prophetess. Jamaica, if you look back and you listen to yourself, during the time of reggae music, when Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bonnie Wheeler, Benny Spear, Gregory Isaacs, Jacob Miller, and those people were ruling, black people almost got united. We had a very big spiritual upliftment in the life of the black people because it was coming from Jamaica, it was pure, and it was holy. It was cleaning us, unifying us as people, and we had the enthusiasm, the happiness, the strength, the courage, and the might that the future will be bright for us as people in Africa. The words, the wisdom, the knowledge, the spirituality of the music paved way for us to love ourselves and to be built spiritually. But now, the music of spirituality in Jamaica, from the Rastafarians, from our great-grandfathers, were spoken by Marcus Garvey, Sam Sharp, William Gordons, Paul Boglo, Nani, Akompong, and others are almost getting lost.
Because today, the dancehall music is killing the spirituality of what the people left behind. Keep your culture. Don't be afraid of the vulture. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. Jamaicans, you are people with wisdom. You weigh more than silver and gold. Silver and gold is what you are blessed with. But the wisdom within you is greater than what you can think of. That is why I'm talking to you today. To be on your feet. And remember that you represent millions of black people as a person from Jamaica. If you leave the shores of Jamaica, the respect that is according to you as a Jamaican is different. Because the background is good spiritually. But why are you allowing the vulture to steal away your culture of purification, sanctification, and the holiness and the purity of the music that has been sung by your great-grandmen? You still have a living legend in the person of Boniwela, a living prophet, one of the biggest among all. You have every right, every opportunity, every chance to live up to your expectations without fear or hindrance. Because the land, I have been there, I have seen it with my naked eyes, filled with spiritual power. But you are giving way for people from other countries to intrude Jamaica with different spirits. But before it goes bad, I need to draw your attention to the fact that you represent Africa. So remember yourself and know who you are under the sun, that you are the blessed land. In the future, there's a possibility that if you go back to your roots and you pick up the spiritual sense in the wisdom and the power in the music sung by Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Boniwela, Benny Spear, Gregory Isaac, Jacob Miller, and what you can know, Mutabaruka and the rest, Africa can be on her feet. We are looking forward to you as people, because you are the people who can hear and tell us how we have to go. You are not many, but you are spiritually filled. But the dancehall music, individually sit and read and understand and ask yourself if it helps more than what you knew before. Then you can be the judge. If it is not the best, don't think only for yourself. Don't think for your only self-esteem or self-happiness. But think that so far as you are a Jamaican, you represent millions of black people as a person. So think about the masses and then go back to your roots and pick up the music of wisdom. That will help to generate the power that we need to free ourselves from every bondage. I have been there, and if you go to the Maroon lands, why is it that there is peace over there? Because there is no infiltrations. They still keep on to their culture. They keep to their roots. Help us as people in Africa also to keep to our roots. If only you start singing the songs of wisdom, the songs of praise to the Most High God who created us, whose power encompasses the universe, who has given Jamaica the wisdom to sing the songs of praises that Africans will follow, and we all live in peace and unity. Blessed the people of Jamaica. Blessed the children of the Most High. Blessed for the wisdom that has come to you. Take it and let's live up. For our time is up as black people to rule. And you are our leaders. You are our prophets. You are our prophetess. I've been there through the invite of Paul Boglo Foundation.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yes, cutting edge with the pana vibes are with the African, them continental African, and we think we will continue like this. Yeah, we want to continue the continental African speech and music.
The people in your life, they either increase you, decrease you, or neutralize you. That is why you need to be very serious about your association. So check your relationship, because when wrong people live your life, wrong things will stop happening. Some of you, your life is full of drama, but it is because of the people you have in your life. Tell your neighbor, let them go. Come on, look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, when wrong people live your life, wrong things stop happening. When toxic people live your life, toxic things stop happening. And listen to me, one thing you need to know about wrong association: they will kill your joy. Wrong associations will kill your passion. Wrong association will kill your dream. Wrong association will kill your faith. Wrong associations will kill your drive. Don't make everybody your friend. And some of you are trapped in the wrong relationship because you are saying you don't understand. I have history with this person. But listen to me, just because you have history with somebody doesn't mean you have a future with somebody. Hey, tell your neighbor, neighbor, just because we have history, that doesn't mean we have a future. And I came to announce to somebody, your destiny is not commanded you to make everybody your friend. Love is a must, but relationship is by choice. Anybody that is not making you better, that is making you bitter, let them go. Even on Facebook, it's not everybody that you have to accept their request. Hey, some people you must delete. You are the CEO of your life. You are the CEO of your life. You are the CEO of your life. You have the right to invite, delete, and terminate. Continent!
God says you may not have anything you want. You may not have anything you want. And I was puzzled by that. And I said, well, I don't understand. I thought that when you want something, when you need something, when you are hoping for something, you go to God and you ask for it. God says, no, you don't understand how the system works. You don't understand how the system works. Well, even that there is a system. But here's how the system works. Everything you could ever ask for, you could ever have now, or ever ask for in the future, you already have right now. You already have all of it. You simply are not experiencing it. Because everything that has ever happened is happening now, and ever will happen is happening right now. And so it is for you merely to reach into the sea of infinite possibilities and call forth the reality you choose now to experience. And you do this, you call forth from the sea of infinite possibilities the reality you choose to now experience through three devices mainly: thought, word, and action. That is, what you say, what you think or believe, and of course what you do. Now, if what you say is, please give me what I need today to survive, you will have a struggle acquiring what you need today to survive, because the statement comes from a deep underlying thought that you do not now have that, or you wouldn't be asking for it. It is that underlying thought, what Conversations with God calls the sponsoring thought, that has a huge influence on the creation of your moment-to-moment reality. Therefore, if you ask for something, or if you say, I want something, I'll use an example, I want more money. Oh, I really want more money in my life. The universe has only one answer to a statement like that. Indeed you do. That is correct. See, the universe only says yes. Now, when you understand that, I mean, please forgive me, I know this is very elementary to most of us, but just to lay the groundwork, the universe has a universal response to every thought, and the universal response is yes. See, God only knows one word, yes. God has a very limited vocabulary. God says yes, yes, yes. Yes to what? Yes to whatever you think, say, or do. God says yes. Now the good side of that is, the positive side is that God never says no. The bad side of that is, for those who don't know how the system works, God only says yes. So if you say, I am sick and tired of my life going like this, God says, yes, that's true. I want more money, God says, indeed you do, yes, that's true. You want money, that's true. And you will have the experience of wanting money because you're declaring, in fact, what's true for you. I want more money. Yes, you do. Yes, that's true. And so you will talk yourself right out of what you're trying to talk yourself into. Now, I don't want you to think that it's a matter of choosing the right words. I don't want you to get down to the point where you start parsing, like Bill Clinton. I didn't inhale or whatever. I don't want you to feel that you got to start parsing the language and worrying about every single syllable that you utter that proceeds from your mouth. But you do need to look deeply at the sponsoring thought, that is, at the foundational idea from which your words emerge. That you do need to look at. Or to put it another way, if you're coming from lack and from a thought that there's not enough, and couldn't I please have more, you are having to overcome in the first instance your thought that there's not enough, which is very difficult to overcome because it's your foundational thought. Now, one might argue, and your friend would argue, but Neil, that's all very sweet and good, except when a person's entire experience is that there's not enough, how could they have any thought other than that? How would you expect them to have another thought when their whole experience, the evidence of their own eyes, is that there is not enough? To which a master would reply, as all masters have, each in their own way, each in their own time, judge not by appearances.
Confused. Working definition. Confusion is the experience that results when one does not admit what they want or need in any given situation. Knowing what to do and not demonstrating the courage required to get it done. A response to fear. Chaos and confusion are not the same things. Chaos is the energy we create when we have a need to be needed, when we want to make ourselves feel important, when we are trying to convince ourselves we are not important, and when we need something to do. Chaos looks confusing, but it is not confusion. Confusion, on the other hand, is a mental and emotional response to the failure to admit what we really want because we are afraid we will not get it. Confusion is an experience of having the brain shut down. There is a barrage of information coming at you, and you can't figure out what is real from what is unreal. The natural response is a perceived experience of not knowing what to do. Well, that's impossible. You always know what to do because you have a divine connection to the one mind that knows everything. Confusion is also the mental and emotional outgrowth of knowing exactly what to do and having this knowledge clouded by the belief that you are not good enough or smart enough to do it. This is augmented by the fear that if you do it, you might not do it right, or that if you do it the way it needs to be done, somebody will get mad at you. The natural response to this self-defeating mental chatter is for the intellectual mind to shut down. The result is what we call confusion. Until you are ready to admit to yourself exactly what it is that you want, you will experience confusion. The confusion will not subside until you honestly believe that you deserve what you want, that you are entitled to the experience of what you want, and that if it is for your highest good, you will eventually have exactly what you want. In order to move out of confusion, you must be willing to be still long enough to get in touch with what you really want. Once you have admitted what you want, consciously take steps towards the realization of that experience. Do and say the things that are a reflection of your desire. Do not settle for something you know is a reasonable facsimile of what you want. Hold out for the real thing to show up. Write out your dream. You will know it when it shows up because it will meet every aspect of what you have said you want to experience. In the meantime, keep affirming yourself. Be willing to admit when you make a mistake. Ask for help or support when you need it. As you move toward your goal and gather new information, realize it is never too late to change your mind. As soon as you realize the need to make another choice, admit it to yourself and then do it. Let me remember. The divine knows my needs and desires before I ask for them to be met. All the divine has is mine by divine birthright. I can ask for what I want and expect to receive all that is for my own good. Let me remember. In the midst of confusion, I will be still and tell the truth. And for this, I am so grateful. This is Iyanla Van Zandt, author of Acts of Faith, and you are listening to Mutabaruka. When you feel disappointed. Working definition. Disappointment is failure to realize a desired or expected outcome. Thoughts grounded in fear of losing control. I was disappointed. I had so many dreams for my children. I wanted one doctor, one lawyer, and one college professor. I really had my heart set on a college professor, a Dr. Van Zandt. Instead, I got a disc jockey, a vice president in my company, and a nurse's aide. I guess I could have done worse, but I couldn't help feeling disappointed. I have at times been very disappointed in myself. The things I have or have not done. The choices I have made, the chaos and conflict I have created in my life have at times been very disappointing. It was through self-examination that I found the root cause of disappointment. Not stating your true intentions very clearly at the outset of any endeavor. When you fail to do that, and when you fail to let everyone involved know exactly what it is you want, chances are you will be disappointed. I really didn't care whether or not my children went to college. I really wanted them to make me look good. It is a fantasy to believe that people can disappoint you. The only thing people can do is what they do. People always show you who they are. I have heard many people say that they were disappointed when they did not get the position or the house or the money. I always ask, why? There is a spiritual principle that says you can only have what is for you to have. Regardless of how much you want it or think you need something, if it is not in the divine plan for you to have it, you will not have it. There is nothing to be disappointed about. On the other hand, there are those situations when something is divinely ordained for us and it comes along, but we are not ready for it. In these situations, things will seem to slip right through our hands. The feeling is one of disappointment and devastation. The lesson is to get prepared. When you are ready, an even better opportunity will be presented to you. When it shows up, you will need to be ready. I have 3 wonderful children whom, as they are adults, I call offspring. They are honest, dependable, loving people. I realize that the choices they have made in their lives, they had a right to make. I recognize that they are still young and have plenty of time to make new choices and take their lives into new directions. I hope one of them will eventually have doctor in front of their name. However, rather than wasting my time and energy being disappointed if they don't, I have done it for myself. I have a doctor. I have a law degree. I have been a visiting professor in several universities. You see, that is the key to never being disappointed. When you really want something, don't make anyone else responsible for you getting it. Let me remember, no one else is responsible for what I want. My blessings have my name on them. I can only have what is mine by divine right. I cannot lose. Let me remember, lack of honesty always reaps a lack of satisfaction. And for this, I am so grateful. This is Iyanla Van Zandt, author of Acts of Faith, and you are listening to Mutabaruka.
That keeps me puzzled, despite having studied finance and economics at the world's best universities. The following question remains unanswered. Why is it that 5,000 units of our currency is worth 1 unit of your currency, where we are the ones with the actual gold reserves? It's quite evident that the aid is in fact not coming from the West to Africa, but from Africa to the Western world. The Western world depends on Africa in every possible way, since alternative resources are scarce out here. So how does the West ensure that the free aid keeps coming? By systematically destabilizing the wealthiest African nations and their systems, and all that backed by huge PR campaigns, leaving the entire world under the impression that Africa is poor and dying and merely surviving on the mercy of the West. Well done, Oxfam, UNICEF, Red Cross, Life Aid, and all the other organizations that continuously run multi-million-dollar advertisement campaigns depicting charity porn to sustain that image of Africa globally. Ad campaigns paid for by innocent people under the impression to help with their donations. While one hand gives under the flashing lights of cameras, the other takes in the shadows. We all know the dollar is worthless, while the euro is merely charged with German intellect and technology, and maybe some Italian pasta. How can one expect donations from nations that have so little? It's super sweet of you to come with your colored paper in exchange for our gold and diamonds. But instead, you should come empty-handed, filled with integrity and honor. We want to share with you our wealth and invite you to share with us. The perception is that a healthy and thriving Africa would not disperse its resources as freely and cheaply, which is logical. Of course, it would instead sell its resources at world market prices, which in turn would destabilize and weaken Western economies established on the post-colonial free meal system. Last year, the IMF reports that 6 out of 10 of the world's fastest growing economies are in Africa, measured by their GDP growth. The French Treasury, for example, is receiving about $500 billion year in, year out in foreign exchange reserves from African countries based on colonial debt they forced them to pay. Former French President Jacques Chirac stated in an interview recently that we have to be honest and acknowledge that a big part of the money in our banks comes precisely from the exploitation of the African continent. In 2008, he stated that without Africa, France will slide down in the rank of a third world power. This is what happens in the human world. The world we have created. Have you ever wondered how things work in nature? One would assume that in evolution the fittest survives. However, in nature, any species that is overhunting, overexploiting the resources they depend on as nourishment, natural selection would sooner or later take the predator out, because it upsets the balance.
Yeah, this is the Culture Nation FM. We're going through the places. We're going to take some call, you know. Yeah, we're going to take some call, but we're not in the arms house business, Believe you me. We don't really take the arms house out of the night here right now. Trust me. Okay, here we go. Omar Johnson and I will be appearing in Birmingham and in London. So look out for that. Yes, we're going to be at the same place we was in April. And we're going to be in Birmingham. Yes.
So what's the solution? So how do we get that?
Well, here's the thing. We got to recognize that wealth is intergenerationally created. Most people who get rich don't get rich in a lifetime. Oprah, that's once in a while. Bill Gates, that's once in a while. Most people are intergenerational wealth. That means what? That if black people want to catch up, we have to start saving wealth and passing it to the next generation. Our biggest problem ain't that we're splurging. Is that every time we splurge, we're stealing from our descendants. You're giving them no inheritance to get started with. For the white child, they're starting out $100,000 plus, $1 million plus. And I think we have to become more strategic in the way that we do our health plans, as well as our life insurance plans. Because what I'm learning with a lot of these white folk, a lot of them are getting their first, what you want to call a shock of wealth through the life insurance policy of their parents.
We talk about that too.
Yeah,
so life insurance policy.
Yeah, so there's so many different strategies towards wealth that we're not even thinking about, because black people, our selfishness, it's also based on our, what you want to call it, emergency consciousness, survival instinct. We're only worrying about our life. We do not think about those who come after us. Now, you got to realize now, when we got out of slavery, white folks been already building wealth for a couple centuries. Right. We started behind the 8 ball. Okay? So you got to play catch up. How do you catch up with somebody who's 100 yards in front of you? You have to run faster than they are. That means we have to sacrifice our spending habits more than everyone else in order to catch up. How does a people who are at the bottom waste money more than people who are at the top? So not only are you not catching up, you're not even thinking about it. Trying to catch up.
This is good. And we got 1,000 questions, and we know you.
Mutabaruka.
Hi, sir.
Greetings, man.
Hi.
Cutting-edge artist, man, to Musa link, I guess.
Man.
Glad for program tonight, Musa. More call from the other day to make a hear the music and Musa. I knew Musa more here from the other day, more sing it from Cutting-edge.
So you have it on CD?
I keep sending the email them Musa, but I don't know Musa. If you tell us them visual impaired, I have somebody else send a signal to me. But every time I beg them send it, I don't know how to go on. The man say it I got you and you say I get it, so I don't know what the problem there. I
want to tell you something. A man, I check a man in the weekend.
Man, you see nothing come by your things.
Listen to me, I say no.
Fire.
Yo.
Come tell them to label all of the children.
Yeah, you hear what I say?
Yeah, what you say now?
A man, me talk to a man Sunday. About some things up on my computer when I work, right? Okay. And him say must send me the correction how to make it work.
Same.
And me call him back and I say, Brethren, you have me a wait for the thing. Him say, him send it. So I say, but me not get it, Brethren. So him say, alright, me go send it again. Me wait and me not see nothing now. Today, just a while ago, see me come to the studio, you know. Me call him and me say, Brethren, you know, so me still never get nothing. Me go give a next email now. You say, me give him the next email.
Yeah.
I open the one where him claims him send it, man. At 4 different times him send it. And at 2 them me get it. So just I show you say, I don't know if it's something wrong with my email thing.
Yeah, and I saw them thing that go more, man.
Yeah, so you me I tell you again now. Send it again. And that me I tell you. Send it again.
Alright, so me
eventually go and see it and just say, oh yes, I get it.
I well want to hear that tune, man.
Which tune?
The one that me have knows a brand new one. Because you see, I thought what topic you more and the motor.
But all of your tune them brand new.
Yeah, but me I said that, yeah, well, that make a hear African Glory last time.
Alright, go on and make we hear it.
Alright. Never gonna stop. Never gonna fail. Babylon a fight. The Africans prevail. Them tell me God is white. See I me ale. Them crucify him daily. All when them not blow nail. Can't shit the youths with no false image. Kick with them white Jesus like scrimmage. Lick that physics like a mean name Greenwich. Keep the onion milk and give I the spinach. Power and the Trinity, Selassie a divinity. Rastafari, Brian me healing infinity. Lion of Judah, earth's rightful ruler. I am the Selassie inspired them junior. Never gonna stop. Never gonna fail. Babylon a fight. The Africans prevail until we God is white. Selassie Muta ale. Them crucify him daily. All when them not blow nail. That's why me see a karma Lina this time. We never yet face to tell Babylon gone. Selassie ya guide to me. Them can't harm us when I grade alone in a farm. The revolution start long before me born. Now I bombard them sound the alarm. Me never call for so when me choke on a fi I grade them in a me farm. Never gonna stop. Never gonna fail. Babylon a fight.
All right.
The Africans prevail. Them tell we God is white. Selassie we hail. Them crucify him daily. All when them have no nail. It's that motor.
All right, so give thanks. Yeah, Bridget.
Yeah, man, give thanks to the time, motor. Give thanks to the time.
All right.
Bless up.
I did.
Bless up, motor. Rastafari love.
I did.
Yeah, man, they like to hear African man talk about all the great things that go on in the country, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, man, so I mean, I think carefully to say that genuine man come down and see everything walk on, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the people that live right in our country, everything is all right enough. We have the best country to produce every little thing. But you know, for the people that don't want to work on the watch you when you're making money and what plan to rob you and all type of things, you know. Yeah, man. I mean, as an iron, this, you know, we hear you from the work Chilani all the way. RFM, son.
Yeah, man, give thanks, man.
Yes, so enough people up on the line still, so tomorrow we talk again.
All right.
I mean, I pick up the bread in them in a Christian, I just the fire lion, the cook shop bread in Rastafari cook. And the whole Christian crew from Iron and the work Chilani. Bless up till tomorrow, you hear?
Yeah, I mean, I play that tune of all the people them in Chilani, you know. Yeah?
Yeah, Muta.
Oh, you know, man?
Yes, man. People looking forward for the tour, man.
Well, let me see, I hear somebody, I hear today, the pre-sold ticket, them good all gone, you know. You could have to go buy it at the gate.
Like pre-sold been sold. Pre-sold been sold. Remind you of old Nat King Cole.
But I tell you.
Yes, because October is the Birmingham date.
Yeah.
And November is the London date.
Yeah, and we have a broadcast from the two city them. Stepping Razor.
Yes, Stepping Razor broadcast, right.
In a Birmingham and in a London there. So we are going to wait for you, we are going to go on there. So, you know what I mean there?
Yes. That's good because, I mean, people like to say Africans traveling across and interlinking and that type of thing, you know.
Well, so, I hope I will see you in London at the station. I don't get the name of the station yet, but I know it's News Talk in Birmingham, but in London, I hope I see you at the station.
All right, well, just give me the details when you know that. I know News Talk them in Birmingham because I have done shows on News Talk in the past, you know.
We broadcast continent from this one time too.
Okay.
Years ago.
New Style, from New Style?
Yeah, New Style Radio, yeah.
Yeah, me know them.
A New Style, me did that say all the while. Wait, a New Style, me did that say all the while.
Yeah.
A New Style, I'm more than me, I think, for it, all right.
Me know, upon the campus there, yes, the real. Yeah, man, me do think. So, me know all the London one is and thing, you know, and New Style. Well, let me know the date on that with them still. We'll have link, you know, and thing.
Next week Thursday.
Really good. Say you do that, you know, and them really.
We are broadcast on Africa in December. We are broadcast on Africa in December too.
Oh yes, because with the Ghana anniversary from Kwame Nkrumah's 1958 thing.
Yeah,
you know?
we are broadcast from this too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, link me and give me the details of the service station, them here, you know, in London and otherwise, and thing, and with Birmingham. And we have a next Kingston technical man who informed me a long time, brethren still, you know, from 60s come through, none other than the great singer, Pat Kelly and songwriter.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Pat Kelly, for those of you.
So, they are England. No, England, him there?
No, man. Him leave England years ago, man, from in the 70s. When him returned, he was also an engineer around by King Tubby's.
So, him down here, him in Jamaica, yeah? Him in Jamaica? Him in Jamaica?
Yes, man.
You're serious?
Yes, man. Pat in Jamaica from in the 70s, man. From him return from England.
Oh, man, let me not see my England. Let me not see my England, man. Me see my England.
Yeah, him on tour, you know, the shows and things.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But when him did return, him was an engineer around by Tubby's and things, because the electronics man too, you know.
Me think England live, man.
But the thing with him, I complain and I support him because I start publicize it. Remember him have a tune 1969 name, How Long Will It Take? How long?
Yeah, me have it, yeah.
Will it take? Yeah. Well, it's from a book of poems that him still have from 1966, that book of poems him have. And then later on him put it to music. So How Long was one of them. I'm in the mood for love.
Yeah.
And other songs. Some Brazilians, one named Jeff Buckley, another one named Gary Lucas. No, on some album named Songs to No One, and Do Over How Long Will It Take, with the same title, same words, everything, you know.
Yeah.
And a claim says dears don't want to give him credit so he can get him royalties as the writer and composer.
Oh yeah?
Yes. And after this, I go send you the do-over that them do and his originals. I go WhatsApp
no,
it to you.
Tell me the do-over. I have the originals. Tell me the do-over.
Yeah, me do over. Yeah, man, out of order, man.
Yeah.
So, because you know what happened? You have a lot of foreigners and some of them are Jamaicans too. Them take people music, steal people music, and claiming writing, says them write it and that type of thing for money, you know.
Coxon used to do it.
You know? Me tell you. And many others.
Yeah.
Many others, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll talk about love. I mean, over the years, you have people that do over talk about love. I mean, Al Campbell do a nice version of talk about love. Charlie Chaplin, Biggie Fit, when him have a DJ lyrics about you too fat to dip and diet, them kind of lyrics. It's talk about love rhythm. And you have a youth named Chevron who do over love, love. And Pat say, him a refuse, him a go on like him write it and not Pat Kelly, love, love. Me go send you his one too, and Pat's original.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. Dreamland.
Yes.
Bonnie Bella sing it and say a theme one and a theme one.
We know it's some group named Lost Tempo.
Lost Tempo, yeah.
The original.
Him sing it and say a theme one and a theme one at all, but who would have known because theme one sound better than the original still.
Yes, theme one sound better than the original. That is true. It's a group, remember, so right, like the name Lost Tempo, something like that.
But I want to tell you, Master Griffith sing it over, make it sound even sweet too.
Yes.
Yes, Master Griffith's version, sweet.
Yeah, man. You know, it's like, take for example, the Johnny Taylor tune, the Ain't That Loving You. Me love it, you know. But me prefer Alton version, you know.
In our way, still, me kind of like Johnny Taylor one.
No, don't get me wrong, you know. Me like Johnny Taylor one, you know. Good. But me just have a feel for the Alton one. But me, you know, sometimes the original artist don't do it as good as somebody who cover it. It happens sometime, as we know.
Most of the time when Alton sing a cover tune, it sound better than the original one. Most of the time.
Yeah, like the one, You Made Me So Happy.
Yes, yeah, man.
Yeah, You Made Me So Happy sound better than the original.
Yeah, all of them. Even John Holt to sing over them.
And you know, say Ken Bood version of Everything I Own. Better than the original, My Bread.
Yeah, and Puppet and a String too.
Eh?
Puppet and a String to sound better than the original one.
Yes, the Sandy Shaw, better than the Sandy Shaw. Yeah, original. Yeah, man, for real. So we really have them thing there, you know what I mean? Because you say, I'm in the mood for love. I think Sanchez did do it over for Winston Riley with the lyrics, do Loneliness. I'm in the mood for love. It's a tune me always remember because the heaviest and cleanest sound in Jamaica in the 60s was built and owned by Seymour Williams. Stereo super special sound. And he used to play it on wax. Wax is where them call dub plate later. And La Paloma Club on a Saturday night at Young Street, man, at the 60s. Remember, he used to go La Paloma and a year. I'm in the mood for love. Pat Kelly there. Bonnie was the producer. And before we go to, I have to mention the funeral of Joseph Hookim. Jojo from Channel 1 this Saturday the 20th.
Yeah, we mentioned it already.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, because when you weren't around, we did mention, same did pass to Rajas and others He more buried at the same cemetery as his brother, Paulie, who them did murder at Greenwich Farm years ago, you know what I mean? Yeah. And thing, you know. But just want to big up all of the man and woman, them at GAE and them thing there, and Leroy Sybil, Sam Heptones and Ansel Collins. Them is some artists who people do over them, thing them too, and them not get credit. So them have to go watch out because I'm going to publicize for them get them royalties.
Well, you're the latest one you know. You're the latest one you know. BAYSEE man say, from him I sing tune in Jamaica, I never get royalties from no producer yet.
Who said that?
BAYSEE man.
BAYSEE man?
Yeah, him have a new album when he launch, and him say that from him a sing in Jamaica with producer, him never get royalties from no producer yet. All them big tune there, BAYSEE man sing.
Yeah.
Never get a royalty from none of them. I tell you.
Well, for Barry said that because me have the album. And you know, and the tune from it name I Am Alive, me have it from a few months ago. Yeah. But for Barry say what you say, and I believe you when you say that because I thing. It's a serious thing, because me and you know it's some well-known names as producers. Him sing for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yes, him sing the
Jeremy
Penthouse, Jeremy and many others. You know what I mean?
Most of the hit them was Penthouse hit them.
Yes, with his Donovan Jeremy.
Yeah, so it kind of.
We used to go to school with Sly, so
bad taste, that man.
No, man, me I tell you, and to know after all these years, because if my memory serves me right, Berry started his recording career in about 1972, 1973 with Transacles, you know.
Yeah,
we actually named Wanderer or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, and for no say, all of them hit tune there. You know what I mean? You know, get no royalties.
I tell you.
No, man, it's a serious thing, man. And them things they have to rectify. And you see, these things can only be rectified when the artists, them, or the composers, have the guts to come up front and say these things, you know. Because when them keep quiet, them just get robbed silently.
Yeah, man.
Well, since him said that, we don't hear no. Have we heard any statement from any producers? I mean, we not hear from the one them
I can't hear from my FM. Them try to get in contact with couple of the producers, them and them refuse to talk.
Well, you know, so they refuse to talk because them know them guilty. Because if you know, if you know you're not guilty, you go come out and say
live and tell, of course.
but you know, one of the things that I used to do as a producer, you know, I have a book which I have to this day. Anytime I pay in royalties, I have my receipt book where them sign to show how much them money them getting for whatever, you know, evidence, you know. Because you see, when you do have written documentation and it's mouth against mouth, me they don't know that from my mother and father again. So to this day, me have my book and thing. And you see, same cocks the way I talk about it. What a lot of people don't know. We know about the claiming of other tunes and so. But don't be used to say him ignore where some people say about him because I'm having the evidence to show where them receive money for their music.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and BBC from Gaylords is an example of a man who tell me say him used to Gaylords them used to get royalties from Cox and things. So different people have different experience with him, and Ken Wood always talk good about him, Horace and they talk good Prince Jasper and thing. And when I say him no claim writing for things where never write, but him also pay. And there's documentary evidence because them signed for their money. We know that.
All right, so we're going to move.
All right, blessed love. See, keep up the good work.
Yeah, good thanks. Carlton and the shoes, man. Yes, EL. This is the cutting edge. EL. Wow.
Water?
Yes. Yeah, man, me I hear you know. Man, I listen to him radio, you know.
Water?
May I listen to you?
Yeah, hear me?
Yeah, man, may I hear you, man?
I hear me now. May I pick up my thing where me hear the man talk last week Thursday.
Last week Thursday, yeah, what me say?
Alright. Somebody send in a text. And
but
as a professional talk show host.
Yeah.
I never did expect the man say do such thing as a original professional talk show host.
Tell you, what me do?
Alright, a person sending a text, preparing to a bar.
Up a port and in a Natobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A person sending a text the bar.
Yeah, a letter, yeah.
Yeah.
I make pure nice at night time.
Yeah, it's a make pure nice.
Yeah.
And bad word and all type of things.
On the music,
at the bar.
So what you say you never expect what? If you read it, you're not supposed to read it?
Yeah, I never expect other person to start.
Why must
you fight against taxi man? You fight against boss man.
Wait a man, may I ask you why I shouldn't read it?
Alright. Why you shouldn't read it? You say more while a person, you have some bad mind people, you have some grudgeful people.
Yeah.
Because it's like it can be a next bar owner sending that text because that
no,
bar.
No, you want to know, a trade people. Yo.
All the business.
A three more people.
Business.
Yeah, hear me?
Some man just make up a text and send.
Listen to me, man.
Yeah, listen, man. But why you listen to me too?
Let me know your way. You say, man, you tell me I shouldn't read the text because I'm a professional. This and professional. Listen to me now. You see, when we read the text, three other people call. 3 other people. No write me now. Call me.
Yeah.
And a vote say, boy, Muta, this is the person, the woman when we write it, I choose your talk, you know. That dance, that place, appear nice, they make over there. All past Sunday, they make nice over there. So may I ask you now, not go so.
Not go so?
Yeah, may I ask you, not go so then.
Not go so, man, because you I know.
Yeah.
Remember saying, you have police station, you know, if a bar in the community, I go on with them, the farm of activity there. You want to tell me say that the citizens there were in another beer? Can't walk go to the station.
Yes, and the police will come down the need that. And you know, a police will come down the need that. And that me I show you now, because police here man a beat woman and them say enough for them business that too. And police come down, come lock off man set, and when them get money, them no lock it off too. So we are saying no go so.
The man with that maybe investigate.
No, you want know. Me no investigate later, you know. Me read it when me worry because me know say other people have that same problem there in other areas too.
No, but nothing can go to man to make up a text message and send.
Me say, other people have the same complaint in other places too. That's not a unique.
You don't approve for that.
Hear what me say. That letter there is not a unique letter.
Yeah.
Other places have the same problem with loud music and dirty nasty music a play. And then can't not but when them call the police not go nowhere because nobody not shoot nobody down there. And when you go up on all the bus, the same dirty nasty music, they on the bus with the pity them on the bus. So it's not a unique case. All over Jamaica. And the same thing with the nasty music when people are playing the music and I go on like to them now have no conscience. And when you go call police, the police don't come nowhere. And that me I say to you. So you are saying no go so. Well, your problem that no. I know my problem that.
Yeah, but you say it's about my bar.
Are your bar?
It's about my bar.
Yeah.
And you read out that text about my bar.
Yeah, all right. You know, so now, me can't take them people there. Yeah, this is the Culture Edge on RFM. Operator, I want you come in and come tell me if the phone number they come up on the phone outside there a while ago. Just come tell me if the phone number come up. All right. Tune the drifter. This is the Culture Edge on RFM. I go up in time, I go up in time. Yes, give thanks to the moment and give thanks to the time. All right, so we're going to back a little more from 2 to 5:45 with the stepping razor. So, give thanks to the operator outside. Can't remember her name again, you know. I don't know it's what behind them operator. Them change operator them too much, man. I tell you, as we get start to know one, some me say them, we don't see them again. And then a new one come. And she will come in and come tell me that she don't know, you know. She will come tell me that she don't know. Anyway, we say, Wailing Souls a perform around the Williams Center this Saturday I saw. Yes, Jamaica have an answer to everyone out there, you know, like the Japanese them now. Japanese them have an answer for most of the artists them in Jamaica. Alright, so you know, we just mentioned Wailing Souls a while ago because one of my favorite group, them, out of Trenchtown, Wailing Soul. I would see that them go perform in Jamaica. A long time, we don't see them do a full show. I mean, when we're on tour, we see them still, but for really see them in Jamaica is something. So we're going to play some Wailing Souls. Why you know the people them who stay with me and listen? Yeah, man, you have some people who listen to me, you know, and beg so right, you know. And them still listen, you know. And them get paid and a cost no right, but them still listen. I tell you, especially my Christian friend them. Oh gosh, man. You know what them say, they're going to pray for me. And that I keep me, you know, and them prayers I keep me, you know. Yeah, man, my Christian friend, them prayers I keep me, man. Hey, about 7 years ago, a woman give me 2 years for turn Christian, you know. Up at university, say, 7 years ago, that, you know, she say, you said 2 years time, I go and see you again. And you're going to be a serious Christian. I tell you. Yeah, some people listen to me, you know. And them go to them bed and lay down there and think about what me say, and think about what me say, you know. And them say, boy, Muta, me I tell you the truth, me never look upon things that way then, and then go to them parts with it, you know. When the parts can't, them say, boy, Muta, me go to my parts and can't answer me, you know. Believe you me. You see Ian Bowen, we pass there. Serious thing, you know. You know, say Ian Bowen, you have a church, you know. You know, say he's a reverend, right? Yeah, man, have a church, man, and you know, say he recommend the cutting edge to him people them. Yeah, him used to do profile and the religious attack. Him tell him congregation of listen to Mutabaruka program, you know. Because I believe you me, him not left the program, you know. The man, him not left it at all. All him wife out treating him wife, and time I see him and him wife say, boy, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my husband, you know, but him can't leave the program. Yes, so we give thanks. We give thanks. At 20 years today, so we give thanks. And for the field, say the thing are going vain, would have stopped long time. But the true, we know, say now going vain, it a grind, you know, but it a grind slow, but it's still a grind.